Okay, we've been talking about fractions and common factors and writing in lowest terms, so now we're going to actually practice that concept. So here we have a fraction that's 6 over 8, or 6/8, and we're going to write this fraction in the lowest terms. So the first thing we want to do is look at the 6 and the 8 and decide what do they have in common that we could divide out. Well, I know that 2 will go into 6, and it will also go into 8. So let's try dividing by that and see what happens. 6 divided by 2 would be 3, and 8 divided by 2 would be 4. And now we need to decide, is this in lowest terms? Is there anything that would divide into 3 that would also divide into 4? And in this case, no. So 3/4 is our fraction in lowest terms. Let's try another example. 15 over 25. So again, we need to look at the 15 and the 25 and decide what can we divide into both of these. So we know that 15 is divisible by 5 and 25 is also divisible by 5. So let's see what that gives us. 15 divided by 5 would be 3, and 25 divided by 5 would be 5. Now, can we reduce this down any further? Is there another factor that these two things have in common? And in this case, that would be no. If you find the largest thing that they have in common, then you only have to do it once, but sometimes that's not always, readily apparent. Here we have 36 over 42. And because these are both even numbers, we know that 2 will go into both of them. But there is something larger. These are actually both divisible by 6. So if we were to divide both sides, or top and bottom, by 6, 36 divided by 6 would be 6, and 42 divided by 6 would be 7. So this would simplify into 6 over 7. Now, what happens when you get a larger number and you can't always determine what is the largest thing that you can divide out of both of them? Well, you don't always have to do the largest, you just have to start dividing by something. So let's look at this 112 divided by 128. Okay, there is something that goes into both of these. There is actually a very large number that goes into both of these. I think they're both divisible by 8, I believe, or 6. Anyway, we're not going to do that because looking at this, it's hard to tell what is the largest thing that will go into both of them. So we do know that they'll both divide by 2 because they're both even, so there's no harm in that. Just start in dividing. Okay, if we divide the top by 2, 112 divided by 2, we'll get 56. And if we divide 128 divided by 2, we get 64. Now, this is not fully reduced because, again, can you see that there is a 2 in common in the top and the bottom? Absolutely. Actually, both of these are divisible by something larger than that, but that's okay. Let's practice just doing a little bit at a time. If the first thing you see is that these are both even, so they'll both divide by 2, just do it. It'll take you more steps, but that's okay. 56 divided by 2 would give you 28, and 64 divided by 2 would give you 32. Now again, these are both even, so we could divide by 2 again. So 28 divided by 2 would be 14, and 32 divided by 2 would be 16. Now again, these still can be divided by 2 because they're both even. So let me bring that down here. 14 divided by 2 would be 7. 16 divided by 2 would be 8. Now we have a fully reduced fraction, and that's okay. Even though it took us 4 steps to get there, that's all right. As long as you can divide the top and the bottom by the exact same number, you will eventually get to the smallest or the lowest terms.